New York City has a way of throwing surprises at you when you least expect it. I've been driving a yellow cab for over 15 years, and I thought I'd seen it all: drunken Wall Street kids vomiting in the back seat, tourists trying to pay me in foreign coins, even a guy who swore he was the king of Spain. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the night I picked up Elon Musk. It was a chilly Thursday evening in Manhattan. The streets were still buzzing with traffic, horns echoing like an orchestra of impatience. I had just dropped off a couple from the theater district and was cruising near 7th Avenue when my dispatcher sent a pickup request outside a fancy midtown hotel. I pulled up, half expecting another suited executive glued to his phone. Instead, the doorman held the door open and out stepped a man with messy hair, wearing a black jacket and sneakers. For a moment, I thought, no, it can't be, but when he leaned down to ask, "Are you available?" in that soft South African accent, my jaw almost hit the steering wheel. It was Elon Musk. Yes, that Elon Musk. A surreal beginning. He slid into the back seat casually, as though it was the most normal thing in the world. No bodyguards, no entourage, just him and a leather duffel bag. "Where to?" I asked, trying to keep my voice from cracking. "Brooklyn," he replied, "near the Navy Yard." I merged back into traffic, heart pounding. Should I say something? Should I pretend I didn't recognize him? Curiosity got the better of me. "You look a lot like Elon Musk," I said, glancing at him through the mirror. He chuckled. "That's because I am Elon Musk." I laughed nervously. "Right, of course, and I'm the mayor of New York." He leaned forward slightly. "Seriously, I am Elon Musk." He pulled out his phone, opened Twitter, and showed me his verified account with a tweet timestamped 2 minutes earlier: "In New York tonight. Beautiful city." I almost slammed on the brakes. It was real. I was driving Elon Musk in my cab. Conversations on the road. Once the initial shock wore off, I decided to take advantage of the situation. Not every day you get the richest man in the world sitting in the back of your car. "So, Mr. Musk," I began cautiously, "why are you riding in a yellow cab instead of, a Tesla?" He smiled faintly. "Because sometimes I like to see the world through other people's eyes. You learn more from a cab ride than from a chauffeur." That struck me. I'd always thought billionaires were cut off from reality, but here he was, choosing to ride with a stranger just to get perspective. We drove down 5th Avenue, neon lights glowing off the windows. He stared out thoughtfully, then asked me, "What's the hardest part about being a taxi driver in New York?" I hesitated, then answered honestly, "The hours, the loneliness, and the fact that some people don't see us as human beings, just part of the machine." He nodded slowly, as if absorbing every word. "That's the thing about cities. So many lives intersect for just a moment, then disappear, kind of like orbits." I couldn't help but grin. Leave it to the rocket guy to compare taxi rides to space. He laughed at that. An unexpected detour. As we crossed into Lower Manhattan, traffic thickened. Sirens wailed somewhere behind us. Then my GPS suddenly froze. Great, the last thing I needed was to get lost with Elon Musk in the back seat. "Don't worry," he said casually. "I can guide you. I know the city pretty well." So here I was, Elon Musk navigating me through the streets of New York like some futuristic backseat driver. At one point, we hit a red light and a group of kids recognized him through the window. They screamed, "Elon, Elon," and snapped pictures. He gave them a little wave, looking both amused and embarrassed. "You get that a lot, huh?" I asked. "More than I'd like," he admitted. "Fame is like gravity, hard to escape once it pulls you in." That line stuck with me. Deep talks in a yellow cab. The conversation drifted to bigger topics: technology, climate change, even artificial intelligence. "Do you ever get scared?" I asked him. "Of what?" "Of failing, or of the future going wrong." He leaned back, silent for a moment. "Failure doesn't scare me, stagnation does. If humanity stops trying, stops reaching, then we're doomed." I nodded. Though in my world, failure felt pretty scary: missing rent, getting sick, losing work. Yet, hearing him talk about humanity's future made my problems feel both small and oddly connected to something larger. Then he surprised me by asking, What would you change about New York if you had unlimited resources? I thought about it. Affordable housing. And better respect for working people. Doesn't matter if you're a taxi driver or a janitor, we all keep this city running. He smiled, almost wistfully. You're right. The backbone of civilization is the people who show up every day. Brooklyn arrival. By the time we crossed the bridge into Brooklyn, the ride had turned surreal. I'd forgotten I was even working. It felt more like a strange dream, me, a regular cabbie, having a heart-to-heart with Elon Musk. Finally, we pulled up outside a warehouse near the Navy Yard. The place looked unmarked, discreet. He paid the fare in cash, crisp $100 bills. Keep the change, he said, and thank you for the conversation. You reminded me why I take taxi rides sometimes. I sat there stunned as he stepped out, duffel bag slung over his shoulder, disappearing into the shadows like some billionaire Batman. The aftermath. For days after, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Did I really drive Elon Musk? Was it some strange prank? I checked his Twitter feed again, and sure enough, there was another cryptic post that night. Sometimes the best ideas come from unexpected rides. I told my fellow drivers, but most of them didn't believe me. Elon Musk in your cab? Yeah, right. They laughed, but I knew the truth. And the truth was, for one unforgettable night, the richest man in the world had been just another passenger in my taxi. What I took away wasn't the $100 he tipped me, or the bragging rights. It was the reminder that no matter how high people fly, whether on Wall Street, Hollywood, or Mars someday, at the end of the day, we all share the same streets, the same city, the same fragile human stories. New York is full of ghosts of conversations that vanish into the noise of traffic. Mine just happened to involve a man who wants to colonize Mars. And if you ask me, that's the kind of story you don't forget.